It is Amnian Nights. Monkey can recap then.
So we started off last session part way through the underground lair that we were infiltrating. We first met a room full of half abhorrent people who were partway through some kind of transformation, but then we decided we weren't going to go in that room. So then we turned and went in through the other main door that we were looking at. And behind a force field, it turned out there was a big major meeting between all of these lieutenants, who in turn serve some kind of major power, who in turn are all being brought in under Sendax the Uniter. So we had the fat tiefling, Gornak, we had Elias Gladstone was there, and they were all a bunch of other creepy people like Lady Decay. And of course, they were all being led by what's his face, Yagashura. He was very willing to chat with us, but we were pretty much there for one thing and one thing only, and that was to kick him in the dick. That did not go well for us whatsoever.
The dick kicked us.
He didn't even feel the need to keep his henchmen around. He was like, I'll kill these guys on my own. And nearly did. I think I missed almost every attack. He was very, very strong and very scary. But it was a very cool fight. And eventually we sort of killed him. Obsidian came in with a killing blow with his mighty maul. But as he did so, some kind of clearly Sendaxy portal opened below him and swallowed him up, so that we could not steal his cool weapons, and so maybe that Sendax could revive him or something. And yeah, we got whatever the little key artifact or whatever it was we were looking for out of the adjacent room, found a little cool book called On Dragon Sight, which had some cool revelations in about how dragons, when they are very powerful, can do some super cool stuff. And then I think we're making to leave after that. Hopefully.
Didn't we actually leave?
You left.
Sweet.
Even better.
Yeah.
And you found that obviously the Eidolon was now disabled, having had its controller blown up and its players all killed. So I said that we were just starting on the path heading back down to join up with the main road once you cross the Orlando River. And yeah, give yourself an inspiration for that. As we're walking and you sort of leave the town behind you and start to fall into a pace on the path, I said that Haviland had changed into a humanoid form, but I hadn't settled yet on what that was going to be. I now have, as well as I gave you updated character art for Suldil. So we will pick up being on the road. Let me find the music I wanted to have while we were on our jaunt. So, in his arms, Suldil carries what looks to be a blue, slightly furry-eared kobold that you saw Havalan transform down into, while still being unconscious, which he still is, and now he sort of has the kobold bundled limp head over his shoulder as he walks alongside you. And yeah, you are making your way back south on the eventual way to Athkatla. It is deep night.
I'm so confused by the anime and furry sidekick happening right here.
For what?
Hey, they've always looked like this. Well, not the tiny kobold, but still.
All right. Um, how many hours is it back to the city?
Basically, a day. You camped out once to get here.
Yeah.
So if you were to go all day, you'd make it back there tomorrow night. So it depends if you're going to push through for exhaustion, if you're going to camp for a few hours at some point along the way.
Yeah.
Theory looks
guys,
quite tired,
I'm already
so yeah.
basically on my last legs. Like, I
Yeah.
need some sleep.
I was just about to suggest that we find some sort of cozy spot and just crash out.
Perhaps not cozy, perhaps safe and out of the way and out of. Perhaps they're following us. But yes, let's find somewhere to rest. I agree. May
You're kind of good at that stuff. Do you want to?
I was gonna wait to be requested, but I would very much like to sort of, as we're walking, to see if I can find, I don't know, maybe like a secluded sort of place beneath some thick branches, covers. I don't know if it's raining or, but yeah, somewhere nice.
It is not raining. If you remember, it was a clear night until you arrived at Trade Me, and then there was that extremely heavy rain that Zilga had conjured for you in thanks. So yeah, as you move away from Trade Me, it goes from downpour to almost nothing in the space of about 10 feet. So yeah, although you are a little damp, it is back to being a, by all accounts, delightful evening. But yeah, you can make a survival check. We'll say with advantage. You've already walked along this road anyway and found suitable
tired.
camping.
Cool. I'll do it again then. A little bit better.
Yeah. You realise that you're only about half an hour away from the place where you camped yesterday. You chose to camp quite close to Trade Me on the way here. So you know that you're actually only about half an hour away from the campsite that you used yesterday and could set up camp in the same place.
Yeah, I'd like to keep an eye out for any sort of edible berries or things like that along the way. But other than that, she's keeping quiet.
Okay, yeah, you find a couple of patches of blackberries, enough to maybe make one ration. Yeah, anything anyone wants to talk about while you're walking to this campsite then?
Oh, sure, I'll be like, so this whole deal is like shape-shifting of things common to all dragons, or is that a particular thing that your companion Havilan is adept at?
It is most dragons, once they reach a particular age and manifestation of strength, can take what they call a visage form. The manner by which they wish to be perceived by the world.
I'm curious, is that a physical change or more of an illusion like my magic that you saw earlier?
I'm flattered you think me so strong, but you saw the size of Havilan. If were it an illusion, I could not be carrying him.
That is a good point. And this form is it their one form, or can they take whatever form they choose?
This depends on the dragon, but most of them have a favoured form they feel the most comfortable in. Havilan has
Very interesting.
always taken this form when I've known him. I think a creature that attracts such attention day to day, it is natural for them want to be unassuming.
Can they turn into humans?
Yes, we can turn into any humanoid race if they have the desire.
I take it that means since Haviland has, reached that age and that ability that they are quite a powerful being.
He is formidable. There are larger and more dangerous, but he can account for himself well.
Does he not speak?
I'm sorry, mentioned before, he's still unconscious. Allow me to update. There we go.
Very
Just
nice.
swoons.
Dead! Ow!
Oh,
I noticed that earlier we found in the room off to the side. Well, I'm not. You weren't there, of course, but in the room adjacent to where we had our confrontation, there was a book called On Dragon Sight. Is that something you're familiar with at all? It's quite fascinating.
I am familiar with the term of dragon sight, yes. Reaching beyond worlds.
Was that also something within Haviland's domain?
No, it is not. Extremely powerful dragons achieve this. We as the knights only ever faced one dragon that was even having an inkling into touching the surface of dragon sight, and even he had not managed any particular impressive machinations. I think he had simply contacted one version of himself in another world.
I mean, that sounds mighty impressive to me, at least. But perhaps then that is something that Stendax, the Uniter, might be capable of?
It would certainly seem so.
I don't understand when the book mentions incarnations. Is that just themselves, a body of themselves?
This world has a Sendax. Out there in the vast web of other worlds and other planes and parallel existences, there are countless other Sendax. Some that would have died as wormlings, some that rule their world, others that were born as an Ankeg. And with sufficient power, sometimes these incarnations can reach out through the fabric of existence and connect with their counterparts. Almost always to no effect, but sometimes to terrible effect. They say that the gem dragons themselves only came into existence when Sorador, the gem great worm, was shattered across existences. These are fables and mythologies that span beyond reckoning.
I might need you to spell that name for me in a piece of paper.
You will spell it out. I think that's right. I might have to go and change it. I may update that.
She makes a note on the margins of On Dragon Sight. So do you think that's what his plan is? There's a list here of beings that he's trying to commit to his cause, but these seem to be individuals. They do not seem to be incarnations. I mean, Kurigalsu is the name of a famous dragon. Clarvelium is the name of a famous dragon on this plane, and yet there's a mention of her in this other plane, the Feywild.
I have heard of the name Corvellium. I will have to consult my library once I regain access to it and see what notes I have on her. But if
You have a
Sendax
library?
has killed her, the headquarters has a library, yes.
Well, yes, at least on this plane, Sendax did indeed kill her, but I don't understand why. This note is very confusing. Sendax reached out to Feywild version of Coravellium to get her to unite under him. I mean, that's, if anything, that is, sounds ill-advised.
We have a list of names to pursue, which will be my intent. I do not know what your intentions are when we return to the city. Are you making this cause your own, or will you be continuing with your affairs? In which case I would appreciate a copy of that note, as I will attempt to deal with it myself. Well, Havalan and I.
If you take me, I would walk your path.
What have you bonded one?
You're speaking to me.
Indeed.
Why?
You already begun to explore the nature of a dragon bond. This makes you eligible.
I do not know yet where I'll go.
Very well. It just seems somewhat providence. I do sense some draconic energy in each of you. Which seems fortuitous.
What?
We have been
In each
dealing
of
with
us.
them.
This could be due to just being in the proximity of a dragon as it dies. This is true.
That would be it, I guess.
But still better equipped than most warriors.
I'm
Equipped or
still
not.
on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Equipped or not, I feel a strong calling to join your cause. If anything, to atone for my past. And to put a stop to needless suffering. By the way, no contact with her, with Atka's eyes, like, whatsoever.
What was Ashley going to say?
She's just gonna blurt out. I'm still hung up on the fact that there's a bunch of copies of dragons in other planes. Like, I thought, like, you always hear about, like, the water plane or the astral plane, or, you know, people like the fire plane. You hear about these places, but are we saying there's a copy of Sendax in each one of those, and sometimes he's an Anke?
No. Forgive me. I've clearly not having many people to speak to.
Are there
These last
copies
years
of
has
me?
confused me. Yes. I am not saying that there is a Sendax in the elemental plane of water. The elemental plane of water is specific to this world. But there will be another world out there with its own plane of water and its own pandemonium.
That one's not the plane of water.
It is simply another existence, where the differences may be infinitesimal, or they could be entirely different. Aber and Toriel could be swapped in the sky.
So this, are we talking like, you said incarnation, is this like when you're reincarnated, like people think that you're just born over and over again?
No, this is another you, another Sendax.
And
What are they
have
doing?
Living.
have you seen those other existences?
I have briefly, myself, forayed into one, a part of a single battle, many years ago.
Wait, you went to one?
I did.
Did you see you?
I did not.
That
I
is
was there
far
for
too many
maybe-
worlds.
For maybe less than a half hour.
What was it like?
Alas, I was underground. It was much as it was here.
Could I be an Ankh egg?
Certainly. We could all be Ankegs.
You want to be an unkeg? Is that your dream?
I'm still wrapping my head around the fact. Is this like when you look in a mirror, but there's another mirror behind you? And so there's just a whole bunch of yous behind you, and you do this, and you go.
Ah, but that's the plane of mirrors.
I think
I did not mean to upset you.
I think I
apologize.
gotta sit down.
And you arrive at your camp.
Amazing.
I do not understand either. If the incarnations take different forms, how can that be the same self?
They are not always. I have really not explained this well. I do apologize. There were more learned people than
I feel like the
myself
people
in
not
the
brought
world.
up on MCU. This concept is so alien.
It is not that there is one that is a dragon, one that is an Ankag. Many of them will be dragons. There will be worlds where Sendax is a force of good.
How do we get that
But then how
one?
can it be Sendax?
Perhaps worlds where there is no Zendax?
Indeed.
What if
No,
we find out how that came to be? We could copy it in this copy.
What if he never was?
Then that world will have played out differently.
There could have been something bad that happened before Sendax was born that prevented him being born.
There could be something much worse in his absence.
All
What?
that.
Perhaps a
This-
dwarven painter who was... no, yes. Continue, Bonded One.
All this just sounds so very theoretical.
Well, he said he went there. How do you know? How do you know it was one of the copies? Like,
Well, there was another version of the dragon we were fighting there.
and it wasn't just like another dragon, or maybe a twin.
It was not. But I appreciate that these are some of the most difficult concepts to grasp.
Well, to be fair, you have also been imprisoned for 100 years, so...
Oh yeah.
Perhaps
I'm
I-
just gonna look at
Perhaps I have-
him like, oh.
Perhaps I have lost
Right.
my mind then. Do you make camp?
Yeah.
How
Atticus
does
will-
one get to your... Yes, but she's still... How does one get to your fortress, temple?
With a key, which I must recover. It was taken from me in the final battle against Kurigalzu before we were... And like he... Towards Atticus, he says it. Before we were overwhelmed. A giantess stole it, named Hestein. I must find out what has become of her and recover the key.
Are you sure that the fortress will still stand?
Yes.
While you guys are talking, Asher is going to excuse herself to use the little girl's
Bush.
tree. But DM, I will be partaking while I am gone.
Okay, do you want to take 1 heroin off from your bag?
It's not the heroin one, it's the fire moss. Chill out.
Just a light.
It's whatever my hallucination handed to me in the city.
Sule, would you mind passing me that gauntlet back? If we get ambushed on the road, then maybe I'll need it.
Perhaps you will need it, but you will not get it back.
Who are you now, my mother?
The speed that Asher just yanks onto a tree.
You are lucky you're not in handcuffs after what you attempted to do.
Same could be said to you, dear sister.
Oh, yes? Expand. When did I try to kill an ally?
When did you try to blow up a city?
I didn't.
Just because you changed your mind doesn't mean you weren't involved.
I didn't just change my mind. I took action. And I put myself in the path of change. I failed. You are aware of your actions. You're aware of the things that you do. And you still pursue them. And that is the difference. You are no longer a child or ignorant or innocent. You are now a very active partaker, driven by revenge, lust for power. More similar to our uncle than you actually think. So you can do that, but I'm keeping this gauntlet.
I'm sure that'll make a whole lot of difference.
Where will you go then, Atticus?
Well, I was planning to go back to Athkatla.
And from there?
Well, I mean, everything's not very clear right now at all.
Do you still think of yourself as Kurigalzu's creature?
I suppose it's more complicated than that. It's more like being marked by him, and how do I escape that? You know?
Killing him.
You said you already killed him.
Seemingly, if you say he persists, clearly there were infernal bargains we had not counted on. We did not get the chance to explore his lair once we believed we had killed him. He had laired in the ruins of his father's domain, who was greater, be calm, and more experimental with the depths he had explored with magic. In fact, it is his father, Furkrag, who led to my brief venture to another world. So there could have been relics or rituals, tools of rebirth in his lair that we had not encountered. I say this not to offend or insult you, but your powers and your situation are nothing special. This is done often by dragons. It can be overcome. It could be embraced further if that is your desire and Kurugulzu's desire. But these are shackles that can be broken, no matter how much of a noose they may feel like at the moment.
Well, a paladin in Athkatla has offered to help me atone and forge a new path, and maybe I'll take him up on it.
Athkatla still hosts paladins. I felt like its slide into debauchery would have them leave in droves over a century of imprisonment.
Perhaps not what they once were. And Janos is retired, I think. But still well respected.
I find it very difficult to believe the words coming out of your mouth, considering that I've heard them before.
Then close your ears.
What do you reckon has become of Gornak? And how was he able to join?
Well, if you remember, I did specifically say that he was clearly there in like an
Yes.
illusory... Okay.
But presumably
Still,
somehow
yeah.
he would still be able to do that. And if he's imprisoned, like,
Okay.
can he just still?
It's like, hold
Does
on,
he get, like, a
I've got
phone
a call.
Yeah, exactly.
Janos goes into the prison room and he's sat there with an Oculus on.
I mean, for all we know, he's still in Janos's basement.
It's just magical zoom.
Maybe so. Either way, it is not only Kurugulzu who has a vested interest in you.
Me?
Hmm.
What does that mean? You
I keep following you
do.
by the will of Azuma.
What exactly is Azurum? Are you talking about the volcano, or is there like some being inside the volcano? It's a volcano, right? It's not just a mountain.
Yes,
Right.
so it is.
Well, you know, you're the dragon bonded one. Maybe I should be following you.
I mean, come on. Your family's interest, your mother's, your father's, my interest in you is not going to sway you from your path, but some sort of god in a mountain that you care nothing about is.
No.
I mean,
thought it was
Obsidian, you
fun.
can be blind all you want, but he follows only his own desires.
Are we all still friends?
Here, you have so much trust in your god's vision. She's gonna give Obsidian the gauntlet. You do with that whatever you want. She might just sort of like step a little bit away. Maybe put her feet in some water and chill the fuck out. And I will send you the gloves. I don't actually have the gloves.
No.
Yes, I do. There you go. You trust in the kid? Have at it.
Havolan begins to stare. And Suldiel sort of helps sit him up. Say, peace, Howland, peace. We are among those who liberated us. Yeah, the kobold sort of comes to and looks around and blinks large yellow eyes around each of you before nodding to the deepest voice, like the little chihuahua in Zootopia, just a real yeah, look at it. You have my thanks. To what do we owe this intervention?
I mean, really, we just kind of stumbled across you.
We were up here trying to intervene with some nefarious activity that was somewhere between drug running and cult transformations that was being run into Athkatla. And clearly you were unintentionally kind of the source of that.
They were using my lifeblood to fuel transformation, it would seem.
Yeah, how does that work? Like, if I just, like, lick a drop of your blood, does that, does that, like, work, or are they doing something to that?
Asher wants to
after?
commercialize
She
this.
Sure that they were
Haviland's
processing
just
it.
looking up at Suldiel, and Suldiel's like, they
Asher's
rescued
dragon
us.
potions.
It's like,
It's like those toads, you know, you can just lick and it's like... So, yeah, so they were doing something to it?
a great magical expense must have been.
So there's a catalyst.
through it.
Okay. Okay.
Did you destroy what we had taken?
Didn't we? I thought we smashed that place up, didn't we?
You seem unsure. Who
No,
are
I'm
you
asking
again?
over the
What-
table.
What are your names? That I might give thanks properly.
Sorry, Asher. I'm actually, so sorry. I'm the one that killed you to begin with. I talked to you in your mind.
You have my thanks then.
Oh, you're welcome. Many seem to think it was the wrong call, but, you know.
It
Just
was,
doing what I
but
was
it
told.
was also the one that I was begging for.
But it was the wrong call. Okay.
We're all sat here now, are we not?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Sorry about that again.
And to whom are you affiliated?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, to myself. I'm an alchemist in training. I'm currently, between.
Asher,
I'm
make an
working
insight
with
check.
the Adventurers Guild right now while I work to set up a potions shop.
Make an insight check, Asher.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. You seem to glance past your shoulder behind you for just a moment as you're talking before, like, very well. You follow your own path.
She'll just kind of absentmindedly, itch.
And you, to Obsidian.
I am Obsidian, and I follow the will of Ajoma.
You have lived and encountered dragonkind before, I sense.
Is it the belt?
Heavens. No, I referred to your... I referred to the nature of your spirit, as I see it, but yes, you also wear trophies, I see. It is natural, a natural desire. Who was the dragon you took those from? They were small, I see.
Galavak Sanulan.
A name I am not familiar with, which, with the length of my imprisonment, makes sense with the size of the scales. Still, I am sure it was a difficult fight.
Has been an arduous affair. The creature fled, and it had many a creature at its call.
And what of you, Paladin? You have a familiar essence about you.
Yes, Atticus Gladstone over there. Sulking is my sister, Sire Gladstone.
Grief! Good grief. I do not notice her.
You probably recognize that I am marked by Kurigaltu, so that will be...
Kurigalsu? Yes, that's it. It took me a moment to recognize.
Not as,
He is not dead then.
yeah, not as slain as it would once seem, so...
That is unfortunate. And yet you are not pouring brimstone from your ears. You have your wits about you?
I mean, most of the time, not always. I did sort of try and kill Saldil earlier, but you know, we're past that now, so...
Soul deals is like, well, I am glad that reason prevailed. I am Havolan. It is a great honor to be in your company. You who have risked seemingly so much to liberate us, even if it was not your original intention. I am sure it would have been much easier for you to have left us and been about your business.
Yeah, but I mean, we also needed to really just put a stop to what they were doing. Mostly because we're kind of in a tight spot with the constabulate, or the
Constabulary.
constabulary.
You are outlaws?
Well, no.
Brigands?
But we did
Technically,
get,
we're currently deputized.
yeah. We did get some orders to come out and put a stop to the whole like drug running thing, or at least figure out what was going on, and you happen to be in the center of it, so.
You are a mess. I enjoy you.
Thanks.
And yeah, so Havolan's like, so we are to what business? And Soldi will bring him up to speed on what you've shared of him about Sendax and Dragon Sight and the book with the names in. And so, I remember when Corvellium was killed. It was a sad day. This Sendax obviously has designs beyond this plane. His moniker of Unifier, or Uniter, concerns me in this regard. So yes, once we are arrested, we shall make this our business ordeal.
We heard you maybe have some sort of fortress or something, but we do have to, like, we'll gladly check it out, but we have to go back to talk to the constable.
Constabulary.
I don't know why I can't get it.
It is a very difficult word.
Yeah. That and accompaniment. Like when you play with someone on the piano. That one. That also.
Do you play the piano?
The piano.
No.
I cannot
I've
wait to play a piano again.
played a triangle before, though. That was alright.
Well, when we return to Athkatla with you, Suldil and I will need to seek out the Monster Hunters Guild or Adventurers Hall to find out we have a giant to track down. That will be our chief priority.
You have a giant.
Yes, we must find the location of the giant who stole the key to the headquarters.
Oh.
You didn't tell them about Hestein? And Suldil looks a bit confused. Like, Suldil's like, no, I did.
Oh, I must have not heard. Sorry. Yeah, alright.
Kurigalzu had many agents serving him in our great battle with him, and one of them struck down a companion of ours and took the key to the headquarters. I am quite sure that she will be unaware what it was she took, but hill giants are natural hoarders, and we will need to retrieve it so we can access the hall once again.
Guess it's a good thing we've got an agent of our own.
An agent?
Kurogazu. I'm gonna look at Atticus.
Because he's just gonna be like, don't get me involved.
Kurogalzu.
You think that you could leverage... And, like, Suldil will give just, like, everyone make me an insight check, actually. Except Siri, I guess. Who's just singing, "Take me to the river," sadly, from the edge. Yeah, Atticus, you see there is a... Well, Obsidian, you see there's, like, a moment where Haviland goes to ask Suldil more, and Suldil just gives, like a... No, we don't know if he's chill. Haviland is like, suddenly, without missing a beat, so many stars. I have certainly missed the night sky. When I feel a little better, I may go for a fly.
Oh my god, I forgot that you can fly. Amazing. Why? What? I guess, yeah, you're not feeling up to it. I'd be doing that all the time if I could.
You would think so, and many have said this to me over the years, but there is much beauty on the ground and in the mortal folk that can be missed when you're always in the clouds.
I mean...
You live such short and interesting lives.
I think I would take long and flying over short and interesting any day. I could be bored flying. That's fine.
Then maybe one day, with the right bond, you will experience this.
Oh, is this
I'm not sure
only
you're that
him
into
kind of
boring,
thing?
Asher.
Well, we've only just met.
Well, boring to him. I mean, I don't know what kind of life you're living if flying in clouds is boring, but I'm saying I'll take that.
Oh, there is few greater thrills when soaring over the unknowably deep ocean waters. This is for sure.
I'll actually pass on that one. I'm not... You go on. I like seeing the bottom. I'm more of a shore dweller. Just paddle out into the waves. I don't like going on boats, really.
Can you swim, Asher?
I can doggy paddle.
Didn't we have to swim through a tunnel, if I remember rightly?
Asher,
I'm pretty sure
do you
you
seek to
Not
join
a
the
strong
cause?
swim.
Do you seek to join the cause against Sendax?
Oh, I mean, if I'm being honest, really wish I didn't have to, but it would seem that for whatever reason this is happening. And I can't set up a potion shop in a city of weird transformed half creatures and expect any sort of success.
Then I think that you must familiarize yourself with becoming comfortable with the deep waters, for this is normally where amethyst dragons roost.
Oh.
Did not know
You
that.
all knew that. You didn't know this?
I
Oh,
did not know that.
I apologize.
No, it's
Alright.
quite informative.
I feel
Of course,
vindicated
this
in my
is not
fear
this
of
is
the
not
deep
always
water.
this is not always the case. You know, I should, by all accounts, if you ask many scholars, be taking the form of an Empyrean or a tall, beautiful, stately creature. But I've also known a green dragon who lived in a desert.
I
I
think
heard-
that we forget ourselves in that, we've obviously read a little bit about dragons from the Dragon Hall in Athkatla, and, scraps of books and whatnot, but obviously your own experience is vast and first-hand, so
Yeah.
we should, make use of that where we can.
Also, I was thinking, and she's gonna hold up her quill that she's dug out of her bag. I think we should all mark ourselves, so that if we come across our copies, we know that there are copies.
Are you
What if they
pursued by doppelgangers?
Well, no, but apparently you can just travel to worlds where there's
Oh,
other
so dear,
yous.
why did you... Ah. It is a great, great cosmic event. This is not some gown to be slipped in and out of.
I was just thinking if we come up with a unique design, just like maybe on our cheeks or something, and then if the copies show up,
I mean, the ink won't be permanent, right? So,
well, you'd have to put it on every morning.
okay.
He looks over his shoulders like, your companion appears to have bodywork. Artist she has taken upon her form. Could you not go to the same place but she achieved this?
She is the primary artist of her own designs.
Oh, marvelous.
Not that I'm saying that we should all get matching tattoos,
I mean,
But also,
Couldn't-
imagine what fools you would feel if you are present for such a cosmic conjunction and your counterparts had marks.
do you think they'd have the same marks?
The possibilities are endless.
I gotta come
But
up
I
with
think
something
you
better.
perhaps think that these events are far more common than they are.
I feel like it's all I can think about now.
It is
If I'm being honest.
universal truth that I myself have lived for hundreds and hundreds of years and have encountered these worlds for one of these worlds for less than a minute. And that was in the greatest and direst of circumstances.
How do you know that you came back to the right one?
Because I can feel the nature of the weave.
Oh.
Dragons, it is always a hard conversation to have without appearing condescending to you little folk, but dragons are innately more in touch with the deep magic of the world. I can tell the world I am in and the nature of it and even the different planes as easily as you could taste the difference between wine and milk.
I mean, one time I went to take a sip of a drink that was in a cup shaped like, it was like, no, I don't know. It was some kind of juice, I think orange, but it was in a wine glass. And I went and took a sip of it. And for just a second, I swear it tasted like wine. And I think it's because I was expecting wine out of the wine-shaped glass.
That would happen. Yes. Please, continue.
No, I'm just saying it can, you know.
What are you saying? Do you need? Have
How
you got
high
some
is
wine?
Asher Basher right now? Like, on a scale from 1 to very high.
That's a good point. I would like to. Considering we didn't address this when she left, but I would
Yeah,
like
she
to
went
know
off into
if
the
I can.
trees, having just learned about parallel universes, smoked a bowl, and has come back just like, oh my god, we have to mark ourselves.
Have we noticed any
It's-
difference?
Inside
Like,
checks.
how clear is this? Luckily for you, even though I normally insight check you really well, I'm still exhausted. So
Roll for noticing that Ash's pupils are the size of saucers. And her tongue is the size of a shoe.
And she's trying to lick Haviland.
I'm just
Make
slowly getting
a
closer.
deception check, just because I always have you make a deception check.
I did.
It hasn't come through. Oh, sorry.
I'm just
that was
asking
the
the
23.
deep questions.
Yeah, it just seems like she is really into these universal cosmologies.
And what Asha means is merely that the dragon could be misguided,
Yes, thank you, Obsidian.
incorrect in the assertions regarding the nature of the weave.
I'm
This is of
actually
course
pretty sure
true,
that's what
but
I was
were
saying.
you to step from the grass onto a gravel path, it would be hard to be mistaken about the change beneath your boot.
Do they all differ that much to you?
Yes. Well, the two I have been in. But even when I have gone to different planes within our world, the feeling is immediate and overwhelming.
and hot if you're in the plane of fire.
Yeah, I'm sure for you, yes. The fire never bothered me anyway. Nor the cold.
Indeed.
I would... Will your sister be joining us?
Oh, she's in a bad mood, like every day. So maybe, I don't know, maybe not.
I say, it would be wonderful if you would join us. I would know you better.
She's really mad at Atticus right now. So they're
It was
they're
the
siblings,
whole
you know. They just
trying to kill Sordil thing, but you know.
Sue does make her way back. Her shoes are off and her feet are wet. And she finds a log, I guess, here. You're awake. How do you feel?
Better, although I must say, Sudil, do you remember when we used to travel around Kalamshan all those years ago, and we would find a different band of merchants or travellers to camp with each night beneath the stars, and they would always give us the hospitality of their campsite, and they would always feed us. Do you remember? So generous with their food, those Kalamshan merchants. Those are very, very good times to be well fed in the company of others. My name is Havalan, yes. And what is... I have had a brief, second-hand introduction, but it's always better to have somebody introduce themselves.
Known as Cedar and Gladstone, and I do have some berries and some very dried rations.
Oh, that would be marvellous if you're offering. Have we met before?
Yes, I used a little bit of my life force to bring you back, just before you were cut out of the machine.
And that is where I know you from?
There was a brief moment where I was in front of you whilst you were tied up on the machines. But yes.
I am thankful that you gave me some of that life force of yours.
Do you meet many tall women with feathered hair?
Not as often as I should like, but much is certain. but I would certainly relieve you of those blackberries. And
They're
I think
freshly washed.
once we are concluded here, I think I will fish before I bed for the night.
It's good to see your life force is returning so strongly. I
Maybe
Yeah.
mentioned to Sildil I would like to walk your path with you. But upon reflection, there is something I must do back in Athkatla.
What is this?
One of our family members, I am unsure what his involvement is in all of these plans, but well, and she kind of gonna look at Cora Toro, and just kind of go, we think we owe some sort of karmic debt to prevent any more suffering that he's a part of.
Is this vengeance or atonement?
Very much the latter.
Good. There's no need for revengeances in our ranks, but atonement? We can take an atoner, can't we, Sildil? And Sildil just gives a quiet nod. And then Havalan looks at Cora for a moment and is like, have we met? No.
Oh, this is Curatoro. They've been with me for as long as I can remember.
Your whole life, I'd wager.
That's right.
An interesting day by all accounts.
Oh, yes, you have been released.
Your other days may have been quite boring.
Indeed. It was, even for one as long-lived as I, deeply distressing. I imagine the mental wounds will take some time to fade. Who likes fish?
I've been known to fuck with sushi, so
Pray tell?
It's true.
you know sushi. It's like raw fish with some rice in there. It's really good. Have you not had sushi?
Why would you not cook the fish?
You know, I don't know why, but it's surprisingly good.
If you like worms,
I think what
riddled
they
with
actually-
parasites.
I think they rear them in a clean environment or something.
They do what?
Look, it's better than I'm making it sound.
It is.
I will be
But
Catching-
sometimes it's cooked. Or like,
catching
you know.
and searing. I will not be fucking in soup the fish.
Probably wise.
I always thought it was magic. Some sort of magic.
Maybe they heal the fish.
And yeah, Haviland just goes over to the river's edge, and just at some weird moment where it seems like they're turning around to talk to you, there's just a moment of zoop, where they change form and just stand over the river for a moment.
Cool.
Tail just slowly moving as you see the neck drift along the river and just stop. And despite the great size of a creature, occasionally when the neck darts in, the sound is no larger and the disturbance is no greater than a stone being thrown into the water. What am I missing? Is player chat like it's time to kill?
We're determining. Monkey says there's a cleric who works at a fishery contacting his deity to deworm, and I just like the idea that like the best sushi places, always have a deworming cleric.
In-house cleric.
Yeah, in house. Asher is just watching wide-eyed. Mouth is totally just open, watching this dragon fish.
So, Lil, if it's not rude of me to ask, how is it that you bonded to Avalon?
I was there when he hatched.
Sorry, I thought he would have been the elder in years.
No, I am the elder. Members of the Knights of Bahamut would acquire a metallic egg, maintain and hatch it through great diligence and sacrifice, and the dragon that's born forth will be bonded to them for life.
Like sharing part of yourself with someone so intimately, they know you inside out.
This is so. I am more fortunate than most in that I too am long-lived, so Haviland and I have enjoyed our bond for many centuries.
It must have been iconic for you to be in that cage, unable to release you both. Your mental fortitude to have endured that for so long, it's incredible.
I could not succumb knowing that Haviland was still alive, and I suspect much the same is for him. If you do follow our path, you will know this one day.
I feel I already do. With all due respect.
What do you think she's like doing right now?
Who?
The other me.
I mean,
Other
there's a lot of them, right?
me's. Yeah. Oh my god.
And some worlds where Asher doesn't exist at all, you know? What a travesty.
Oh no. What do you think she did?
Drugs!
He's like stone cold sober.
I'm sure there are.
Oh!
Monkey, we lost.
Yeah, Monkey lost audio
for
for
you.
me.
Or I did.
He's not muted, so I'm guessing Discord farted maybe.
Hello.
There you are.
Oh.
Didn't do anything. Didn't
That was
touch anything.
that was weird.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah, just I'm sure there are worlds where, you know, that Asher got herself in too much trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe,
Or,
you know,
maybe
your
she
parents
didn't-
just never met.
The camp is illuminated for a few moments by a soft rushing sound, and you look over and see a pile of fish on the floor just being gently bathed in flame from Haviland's mouth for a few moments. Carries
going
over
to
two huge armfuls of nicely seared trout,
Smell's definitely going to stay a while.
which he will hand out.
Most
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
But the smell may, I suppose, attract a bear, but it will quickly flee.
Awesome. Thank
Atticus
you.
will go into his bag and get out a bottle of cologne that he has and put a little bit of that on to help improve the aroma.
Put it on the fish? Like, what the fuck?
No. on himself, just as improving the general area smell.
Mhm.
I don't think you'll impress it. It's dead.
I want her to try.
Well, so to the city in the morning. We will seek out the Monster Hunters and Adventurers Guild, while you'll deal with the...
Constabulatory.
So close! So close! You'll get it! I know you'll get it!
Constabulary. I think I'm adding in the word laboratory for some reason, and I don't really know why.
And then, yes, so Asher and Sire, you both say you will seek out our cause of us. Atticus, you say you are undecided. You are on your own path. I respect that. But what of you, Dragon Wearer?
Is it a secret that we are a part of an adventurers guild? He sort of just to everyone around.
That was what we were
No,
primarily doing before we got hooked into all this.
Yeah, we did mention it.
Oh!
Did we?
Well, I did.
It feels to me like it was mentioned as a target for Haviland, but we never offered to.
I thought I mentioned it.
Mortals and your secrets.
No. We got sent by the Adventurers Guild.
Well, I didn't know that.
No.
You
that
said
was
you
the
were doing it. You said you'd been
constabulatory.
deputized.
Yeah,
May we meet them?
of course.
Thank you, Dragon Wearer.
I mean, in my mind, like, obviously we were going to go there with you because we go there all the time.
In fact, it's the only place we can stay unless we pay a bunch of money, really. I thought you'd covered all of this whilst I was open.
Who are you paying money to?
There's a membership fee,
For what?
so we
For
can
the-
use their
The
barracks.
guild charges money.
It's token.
I mean, they give us
Athkatla has
rooms.
changed.
I mean, it is the city of coin.
Yeah.
Well, those of you who end up joining the Knights of Bahamut will be able to stay in our fortress free of coin.
I like that.
Although I do not look forward to seeing the state it has succumbed to, having not been maintained for a century.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is where coin comes handy because you can use it to employ some people to assist with that.
This is true. Fishbone?
Yeah, more just thinking about money to fix up, you know, an ancient fortress. Probably an expensive undertaking.
It's not quite as... It's more complicated than that, but also not as expensive as that. But we'll see what state it's in first. It's all to do with magical crystals, and so it's all very, very complicated to explain, especially having seen how... it'll be easier to show you than to tell you, I think.
Right.
So enjoyable. This is a delightful evening, just other than being killed.
Yeah,
Look
sorry
outside.
about that again.
And the water was very clean. As cities grow, often the rivers become polluted, even those upstream that flow down into them, as mortals love building things along the river and tend to... Anyway, very clean.
Well, that's good.
Was Athkatla clean?
I can't say I've noticed a bunch of trash. So I guess it's cleanish as cities go.
So tell me of Galavaxanulan. Is this the only dragon you have met before me?
And Sendax, in a way.
You have met Sendax.
Well,
Not directly, not physically. It's emanations through crystals.
So is Galavaxanulan the only dragon you have met other than me?
well, meat, yeah.
Have you met Kurigalzu?
What bones? Give us
Is-
shelter one night.
His bones?
No,
Oh, sorry.
Corvellium.
sheltered under Corvellium's bones.
Oh,
Sire is dyslexic. I'm just gonna
But,
many letters.
I mean, there was a ritual during which I was faced with some form or emanation, you could
hold a
call it
moment.
as.
Hold a moment. I apologize. I know I asked this. Corvellium fell near Riversmoot, though. That is a great much distance.
We
What?
were up there, yes.
Oh. Well, aren't you all well-travelled? How did you get there?
Teleportation device.
Oh.
Courtesy of the guild. Worth paying the dues.
So I've heard. Tell me more of Kurigalzu.
There was a ritual summoning some kind of smoky emanation presented itself and spoke from within. I can't describe it as meeting one as I have met you, however.
Oh.
Especially since, I'm now told that Kurigalzu passed, and I don't really know what it was I saw.
That certainly warrants investigation. Well, I'm very tired, so I think I will abed for the night.
Yeah. And I will lay back on my bedroll.
Sounds good. I am particularly exhausted.
Do you
I'd
want
like
your
to take
content
first
back?
watch. Sorry, I'm just gonna say she's
Okay.
gonna take first watch. As long as the DM lets me roll a short rest throughout this, just so I'm not looking at a 1 HP.
Yes, Havilan is like, you all sleep. I may be resting, but I will keep an eye out whilst doing so. And I dare say little wolves will not be edging near the camp when I am here. So you may all rest soundly tonight. And you see that Havilan has gone, and just sort of gotten down under the shelter of, Suldiel's gone over and just sort of put his roll down in the shelter underneath Havilan's wing. And they are down by the edge of the water. And yeah, it is the middle of the night. If you sleep in slightly, you can get a long rest.
Yes, please. And also, Atticus will be like, yes, Obsidian. And I'll hold his hand up.
Sure. You'll provide it then.
And I definitely want to make sure I get a full long rest because I am battered.
So as you settle down for for the night. You doze, sleeping uneventfully under the watchful gaze of an adult silver dragon.
Yay.
And whilst you rest the night, it's a good place for us to take our 15 minutes. So we'll be back. It's just, well, yeah, it's for the hour. We'll be back at 10 past. Awaken. Rested. Explosive gauntlet recharged. And yeah, I'm not going to change the map for the sake of a quick set off. But you would awaken and Suldil is lying there on his bedroll, sort of waking up similar time to you. No sign of Halalan at all. But within a minute or two, there is a large shape in the sky soaring overhead, and Halalan comes down at speed, has to kind of halt in the air a little bit above the tree line and to find a bit of a gap to get through in the canopy, but then lands slightly heavily on the floor before transforming back into his smaller form.
Feeling better then?
Yes, quite. There was a nice need to stretch, to feed on something a bit more substantial than a claw full of fish.
You go find a sheep or something?
A moose, actually. I found a moose.
That's
Yes.
way more substantial.
I feel set for the day ahead. In a pinch, I will be keen to reacquaint myself with the feast halls when we return to the city and to see what this fucking sush is about and sample that.
If you get sick, then, we can always sort you out. It's fine.
You haven't broken camp yet.
Sorry.
Making a leisurely,
rolling his bedroll.
making a leisurely day of it, I see. Good.
We were very tired.
Of course. And yeah. Anything that anybody wants to do or say as camp is broken? Then yeah, you pack up, continue, and although it takes most of the day, your travel is uneventful. And as evening comes around, you find yourselves arriving back in the city. And yeah, you can see Suldil and Halalan, who both were familiar with the city 100 years ago, have very much the quiet vibe of, driving through a neighborhood you used to live in. They're surprised to see what buildings have changed, appeared, what still seems to be there or not.
See how it's gone to shit.
There is definitely more than one quiet mention of that. The city is rich, but it would seem that it has lost a little bit of its original purity. But yeah, we hit J, and go to the Athkatla map, just to reacquaint yourself with the city. You have entered through the main gates on the main road, just sort of to the east of the prison you were originally kept in the guards district, and the Adventurers Guild is actually closer to you. You'd have to go past the Adventurers Guild to head further into the city to go to the constabulatory. So it depends on if you want to go past the guild, see the guards first and double back, or if you're wanting to just go to things as they are closer. I put it to you.
What did you say is closest?
The adventure, you have to go past, but you're going through the district that contains the Adventurers Guild before you cross through into a trade. Yeah. Because adventurers
Is
are
it?
normally kept to the
Yeah, if we're
outskirts of the
looking
city.
at the rightmost gate, Adventurers
We're in
Guild
the-
is like
It's in the bridge district, right? Where's the
Which
Adventurers
is
Guild?
the
No,
Adventurers
it's just
Guild
the
is
west.
On the
the
right.
exclamation mark in the guards district, the gate
Oh.
district in the Far East.
Yeah.
It's on the
And then-
map. I need to be on the map.
And then just like kind of west of the Adventurers Guild is the Watch House.
Yeah, the Watch House is the big shield on the map. The Adventurers Guild is the exclamation mark.
I mean, I don't know. I think we should get this watch stuff taken care of so that we are maybe not wanted by them anymore. Possibly.
Agreed. It's possible that would also some sort of timeline. I mean, we have no idea what they're planning.
Yeah, so I say we stop by and talk to the constables first.
Okay. And Haviland's like, I will take a, I will. And he can say, he almost seems a bit like excited about it. It's like, I will, to avoid suspicion, play the role of somewhat the fool that would be expected of a kobold in these social situations to avoid any undue attention. Or just so you don't think I've taken leave of my senses. Were I to appear as myself, it would probably cause... I doubt that things have changed in the city so much, but the sudden appearance of myself wouldn't cause panic and misunderstanding.
Yeah, all right. Probably an okay idea.
What did I have that map called? Ah. That was it, wasn't it? Okay, let me just get these people on the map. So, you approach the guardhouse.
Cool. Is there a bell I can ring or?
There is a bell hanging from a post outside that you can ring.
All right, I will do so.
State your business.
We were told to go on a mission and then come back by Grimes.
Oh, yeah, all right.
All right. Hi.
Come in. Don't open the door yet.
All right.
What's of a kobold? You
With
hand him
us.
that in? Oh. Alright, well make sure it doesn't steal anything.
All right.
Don't you steal anything.
Oh, and you come. Take a seat. I'll fetch the commander. And as you go, you see Captain Angerboda has been sort of just filling out paperwork behind the desk, just looks up sort of interestedly and nods at you all. Were your attempts successful?
Somewhat.
What does somewhat mean?
Well, I mean, you want us to tell y'all now or wait for?
I'm fine waiting.
Has there been any activity in the city that we should be aware?
Few bar brawls, more than usual. But other than that, nothing major. A couple of fires. Nothing as big as the ones that you started, but fires nonetheless. And yeah, Commander Grimes comes in with his cigarette, which he puts out on the table, on the lectern as he walks past. It's like, well, sort of looks up like, Sergeant, there's no need to be so imposing. And the golem shuffles off back towards the door. What have you to report?
Asher will look around for a sec to see if she's the one that's reporting or if someone else is wanting to speak.
We managed to infiltrate the cult in Tradesmeet. You were right, they're running an operation over there in a set of caves, some of them underwater, some of them constructed. We found the source of how they were getting this drug or chemicals made and disrupted it, but we have no way of knowing if they have a large amount or...
What was the source?
It was a dragon.
We'll get to that.
But don't worry, I
We
killed
got
it.
there.
You killed the dragon?
Well, yeah, to be fair, it was in really rough shape.
So not quite as heroic as it initially sounded, but it sounds like a kindness.
Yeah. So, but as a result, their source is disrupted. So, unless they go and capture another one, I don't think they can make more. But who knows what they have on hand or squirreled away in the city.
Did you retrieve or destroy any of the goods?
Yes. Well, didn't retrieve. Destroyed, though. But it would seem that they have a lot, already shipped. I would bet they've got big stores in the city.
I imagine you're not wrong there, but an investigation to keep on going, then.
We confirmed that they're working with the firebrands, and even saw Elias Gladstone there. We're unsure as to what his actual goal is, but he might be spearheading the operation of getting the drug into the city, perhaps through some of the smuggling tunnels or liaisons.
Do we have a means of locating him?
Yeah, this is something that Sita would know, I think. As in, what?
Not
No?
automatically, huh?
Or how, the way they would actually go about, kind of like a strategy.
Normally taverns, run-down taverns is where he'd whip you. But that's when he's been looking to gain members in the past. You don't know if he's on a recruitment drive at the moment or if they're just acting.
The firebrands tend to ally with people in need, houses of charity, places where the poor are fed or hosted, taverns. All of these places might be.
And he just turns to Captain Angerboda and say, start making a list for me. So, call me cynical. Have you brought some token or proof that demonstrates you were not just sat in the woods for 3 days?
Atticus just kind of turns and looks at Sordil.
We have this journal as well of the person, I guess the lieutenant of person behind this cult. They go by the name Yagashura.
I think I've heard that
It is a
name.
moniker. Yes. But this particular Yagashura is a
hobgoblin,
Oh,
not a fire giant, like the last Yagashura.
oh,
He
yeah.
didn't
That
seem
was
to
it.
have some.
It was itching. It was itching.
Also, the name was written in one of the Drow's journals, if you...
That was
All
it.
letters.
That was it. Yep. No. Well, you've given us a deal to pursue. It would seem, so far, that you have maintained your end of things. So we will consider your current list of grievances absolved. Current list. No immunity, no future. Current. Not understood?
Understood.
Also, traditionally, there is payment involved for this kind of deputization. So you will each receive a purse of 100 gold.
Would we be getting any of our belongings back?
Wasn't it only the drugs that were withheld?
So many drugs.
He's like, if you wish me to go into the evidence locker, but then you would be immediately breaking new laws.
Right? Right.
Let's maybe not overreach, yeah?
Yep, yep.
There we go.
I can't believe they're having this conversation when it's very clear that Asher has 100% intention of breaking the law.
Just trying to deprive a good woman of her potion ingredients.
You are staying at the Adventurers Guild still, yeah?
Yeah.
We shall have your payment delivered within 1 to 2 days via a courier once the funds have been requisitioned.
All right.
A request for the future: if you do discover any more large-scale wrongdoing in the city, come and tell us.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know if it's important, but like...
If you're going to ask for your paraphernalia again.
No. But like this whole Sendex that's in charge of it, they also had like a vampire guy and a mushroom lady and some kind of, was it a drow? Who else was there? I'm just saying.
The guy who looked like a vampire.
Yeah.
2 vampires.
And
No,
then the-
just the one vampire.
Oh, and the demon, right? Gornak.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know if you know who any prominent and slightly effeminate vampire lords are, or if there's, like, large fungus women wandering around that have standing that might...
Have you already been in the evidence locker?
No, I'm just... Well, all right. You do with that what you will. I just...
Vampires and mushroom ladies.
Yeah,
Wow.
they
Rock.
seemed like a relatively high standing in whatever communities they are a part of, so...
I don't think
In the
they've
mushroom
around him.
mushroom vampire community.
Yeah.
Look,
It is possible they
Sendax-
were delegates from a different plane as well.
Sendax is the great uniter. He's bringing people from all across. Athkatla is a tiny part of this that is getting caught up in it. Like, Athkatla is nothing for this.
I don't believe that is the case. I think Athkatla is where it begins, at least where they intended for it to begin. There was a mention of the river early in the writings of Ardeth, using the river to flood the city with drugs. The drugs transform humans into violent beings. I don't know how Sendax becomes stronger out of this, but it is very much their intent to flood the city with followers or mindless beings that kill whoever will not follow. And she turns around and she looks... I mean, she eyes Captain Angabola, but she mostly eyes like the guard in the corner and just lowers her tone of voice. The Firebrand's MO is sometimes to infiltrate the guards of cities. And make sure that they do not look where they should be looking.
Yeah.
Noted.
I'd also be sus of anyone that, like, has amethyst rings or pendants or something. Amethyst seems to be a whole motif.
Well, I think if anyone's wearing amethyst, they've got too much money to be a guard.
Well, it's usually on the inside of their ring, we found.
Well, I mean, inspections aren't that close, but we'll,
Did the guy who had the purple shop have amethysts?
Lapis Lazuli? Oh my god.
No, the
No,
guy who
told
was,
you.
The other one.
who was translating the book.
You
He
did
had all
not
sorts in
notice
there.
any.
Hmm.
Anything else?
Nope, that should be it.
Well, thank you for your... It may have been self-serving, but you have done a service to the city and will be paid in time.
All right. Thank you.
Please. Trust all of your guards unless they have your confidence.
I will.
And
And yeah, you are let out. Yeah, and find yourselves outside the guardhouse with a promise of 100 gold each on the way. He would have at some point as well just sort of noticed Suldeal and been like, I've got no extra gold for you. Just picked up a gang of stragglers. Hey, who wants to make 50 gold each? Come on. All.
Yes, they were definitely with us the first time. Don't you remember?
I'm going to go visit Janos. If you want to join me, you are very welcome.
I would give to you that you would probably remember in character that Janos had said he was no longer at that mansion. He had moved Gornak somewhere else, very deliberately not telling you where, because he hasn't been trusting
damn it.
Atticus to not just come and turn up. He very much left you with a, don't call us, we'll call you.
Well, I'm going to try to need to find a way to communicate with Janos. Okay.
Just before you go walking off to an empty house and then have me go, don't you remember? So where are we wanting to go next?
I'm gonna go to the Adventurers Guild, yeah.
Adventurers Guild? Okay. Adventurers Guild. Let me just sort that for you. So yes, we find ourselves back at the Adventurers Guild.
Oh my god, it's been here been so long since we've been here. I feel like I don't remember anyone's names.
It really hasn't in game time though.
I know.
Legitimately, we are now on day 19, and we left day 17?
Yeah.
18, 16? I don't know.
That's interesting. Even when you use token drag to set coordinates, but take a token over an elevation tile, it doesn't do it. If it passes over, clearly you need to manually go in and stop. Oh, where the hell's Sirica? Just leaped over.
She fell down the stairs. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild.
I'm looking around. Still deals it. It is much as I expected. Like many a monster hunter's tavern of old. And Havalan is more like, oh, very nice.
Obsidian will be watching Hubris, as to obviously also say hello to Hubris, but also mostly watching for if Hubris has any reaction to Havalan and Soldil.
There's certainly she's certainly taken aback by the kobold for a moment, but looking across you all, and then Soldil's like, are these friends of yours? You vouch for them? You vouch for this diminutive one?
Yes.
Very
How's
well.
it going, Hubris?
Quiet?
Any news?
No, it has been a quiet several days. Clem is in high spirits.
As always.
Yes, precisely. But other than that, yes, we have, I believe, several new contracts coming in the next few days. But I think it's as exciting as the dragon you recently slew.
Less exciting.
For which I'm still envious.
You don't know if anyone has since come and gone to visit that site, have you? We spoke to Magira about it.
I believe there's a crew at the moment who Magia transported to that region. They are looking to see what they can retrieve.
Very well. I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to visit Clem or something, or check out if there's what the upcoming work might be? I don't know.
Work?
We can look at it, but mostly I want to sit and have a drink because it's been a while.
I believe Clem is
couple of
currently
days.
already in a meeting, but he'll be available soon if you want to take rest until then.
All right.
I'll be watching you, small one. And Havalan tumbles down the stairs, almost completely losing footing.
Hubris. I'm looking to get a message out to Paladin by the name of Janus Farga. Would you know if there's any way of discreetly passing word along that I am looking to speak to him?
Do you know where he resides or what order he is a member of?
No, he had a mansion up in the fancy bits next to Temple of Hokma.
Is he a paladin of Okma? Is he a Lord Knight?
No, he was a paladin of the Sacred Order of the Radiant Heart.
Ah, yeah. So when I said, do you know what order he was affiliated with, that would have been a yes then. I can
It
do
has
this.
been a long trip. Thank you.
I can pass such a message on. What is the message? Just simply that you wish to speak to him?
That's right.
What is the nature of this discretion? Can he come here? Or do you want for something more clandestine?
No, I would leave it up to his discretion. I just wanted known that I would like to meet with him. She
Very
goes to fish some.
Just to fish what?
In case it's needed. Like a gold piece,
Oh,
you know.
sorry. And then Hubris looks offended. You are a member of the guild. I can pass a simple message along for you.
I will buy you a drink later.
Yes,
If you want.
that is good. Go.
Okay.
Trying to give me a coin with delivering a message.
God, it's so hard to get anything right.
Not loving this song. It started off much better on the video before it went quite so weird kazoo. Not
I
great.
had it turned down. That's
Not
amazing.
great. Oh no, I'm getting past that. Okay, so
Really intense.
yeah,
The DJ people are like, boo, DJ.
yeah. So you are sat. What's Obsidian doing? Is he lurking on the stairs?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So then it's very curious as to whether Hubris can tell or can't tell about the nature of the guests.
Make an insight check.
Inside, there we go.
Her curiosity and apprehension seem to be very much along the lines of how she treated you when you first walked in here, not members of the guild. There was no lingering suspicion.
Intriguing. Okay.
Asher's just gonna set her
Round-
head
round for
down
everyone,
on the
then?
table. Yeah, just like, ah.
Oh,
Asher,
where's Obsidian
Sordil,
going?
you guys want a drink?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Obsidian will just stand around close by, not sitting by the table.
Yeah? What's going through Obsidian's mind?
How would you know?
I'm asking you if you will share.
The Obsidian is a little bit off to the side, unclear as to what will happen with the group, and thus his place in it is also very unclear right now. So he just doesn't feel like sitting around. It would feel false, somehow, wrong.
Sordeal, drink. Avalan? Sure.
So deals like, I will take a goblet of mead, please. Yes. And Haviland is like, I will have 3 goblets of mead, different meads. I would like to
They
sample
can do that.
the meads.
If they have multiple means, such I will provide.
Ha ha! Very good.
Sire,
Okay, thank you.
suit yourself. I'll go get around for everyone.
Yeah, me, let's see. Good morning.
Is it morning? Still.
Late morning. Yeah. Good noon.
6 ales, I guess. 3 of which are for one particularly thirsty guest who would like to sample 3 different ales.
Oh, yes, I can. We have a couple of different barrels I can tap
Marvellous.
into. Somebody sort of lowers her voice. Very unusual, but when I was on my way in yesterday morning, a hooded figure with his or her, though it sounded like a man, face concealed, bade me ask after your sister. Asking if all he asked me was if she is trustworthy.
Was he
I-
looking for
I
her?
said it would seem so. I said so far as I could tell, and he was gone before I could get more information. From the time I blinked, he had vanished. But he did specifically ask after Siri Gladstone. I'll mention it.
What-
I'll mention it to her, but
Kind of big guy, or
around, not particularly. I'd say he was around your build.
fair enough. I will. What's so funny, Gija? Are you imagining a 5'2" midget?
It's just the dig, like Harrison just always finds a way to get it in. Like, it's so quick.
Just for the record, Atticus 6'2", 200 pounds, all muscle. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
around your build. I would say.
Sure, I'll let her know, or I guess.
I was going to mention it to her, but I thought I would just say it in case she ended up not coming over. I'm quite busy behind it tonight. Are you going to relay it to her while you're there?
Sure, I'll let her know. That sounds like. I mean, I think she's probably expecting a visitor or whatever anyway. So.
Any food?
Sure, yeah, something for everyone. Probably triple for the triple drinker. They have quite an appetite.
If we're going triple, 2 gold for everything. That'll keep it flowing for the night.
Sounds good. And he will hand over 2 gold, he says.
Yeah, and she will give you a tray of drinks and tell you the food will be coming along shortly.
Drinks all around and a nice hot breakfast. Extra for Haviland.
Ha ha! There's a few people have already like, and like Haviland, like after like doing all this, is always like,
I'm also loving the image of like this tiny blue kobold who's also like eating at a competitive level. Sire,
yeah, hand them the garnishes back, run Swanson style. These will not be necessary.
Mia mentioned that from the bar mentioned that someone came in looking for you, a cloaked figure. Asked if you were trustworthy.
I am concerned, and she lowers her voice. I think we're in a safe place, but when I was part of the Fibrands, they had fingers and operatives everywhere. Infiltration, secrecy, that was their thing, and they would hide in the most innocent of places. In fact, using many innocents as shields. Now that Elias knows we're involved, I can only imagine we're targets. I was hoping I would find them before they find us. And that's what I'm going to do tonight.
Do what?
Well, they're moving substances through the city. There's only a number of ways they can do that. They are perhaps using some sort of underground tunnels or
It sounded like
pipes
they were using the
or
river.
the river, indeed. I feel if we can disrupt that before it starts, it would be a good thing. I don't want that substance turning innocent people into strange blob hybrids that lose their mind. I mean, Asher and I saw what happens.
I mean, you may well be right, but honestly, I assumed that it was Janos coming to see you. To be honest, although I don't know why he would feel the need to be covering his face or asking the barmaid if you're trustworthy.
I don't know. I just know that we witness what the substance can do, and I feel a strong responsibility to stop it from getting into the city before we do anything else.
Actually, like, before we do anything else, I feel like we really need to address the elephant in the room, which is Atticus. What are you doing? Like, we're all signing on to, like, do this whole stop this uniting, whatever that means, from happening. We're gonna go with Havalam. Like, it's turning into a whole thing, but it's super unclear where you stand. And I hate to see the band break up, but also, and she's gonna, like, look over, like, you kind of come in a package deal, it would seem. So, like, where are you at? Are you coming with us, or?
I mean, I'm not sure Havilan and Sildil really want my presence, frankly, and I can't blame them for that. But
might change if, like, you know, you try not to.
I have
Attack
already
them
said
again.
my piece on this matter.
Yeah, see?
If you are interested in seeking a better path, we will have you until you prove otherwise. But if that happens again, with no boast or happiness in my heart, I will kill you.
so you mentioned, yes. I mean,
Oh no!
oh, Havilan. I mean, would this be the end goal? Would be to make a life as a paladin of Bahamut, or are we just thinking that this is a current situation we need to deal with?
Sildil lowers his voice. He's like, not all of the knights strictly followed paladin oaths. The Knights of Bahamut followed all walks of life.
I mean, this whole thing does seem like it would somewhat fly contrary to the reason I came to the city, which was mostly to earn coin and make a name for myself. You know?
Totally. I do know.
She gets me,
Yeah.
you know. He's in a party with me, nice and cozy.
Well, we have a fortress. We weren't exactly destitute.
That is true.
Drinks!
No fortress, no coin would ever
Havilan has
satisfy the
cleared-
size of that ego. Sorry.
I didn't know exactly what.
She just took an,
She's just
she
been
just
really
took an
bitchy,
opportunity
that's
to
all.
be a bitch. Yeah.
Havilan has cleared about half of the total meat platter so far, and his 3 goblets are empty.
But yes, Atticus, why don't you tell us what size of name would actually be big enough to quench that aim? Do you want it screamed by children as they flee in despair from your fire?
I was more thinking, position of office, local governor, rubbing shoulders with the aristocracy.
You have this chance. You had it all along.
I don't think I've felt respected since I've got here, but, when you arrive with nothing, that's to be expected in the City of Coin.
I wonder if the respect you seek is one you should give yourself.
All right, listen. I hate being the grown-up, but you guys have got to get it together. You gotta stop being bitchy, and you gotta decide what you're doing, and then we gotta do it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go sell potions until Sendax takes over the world, I guess, and just to hell with it all.
And at that point, you can just grow some tentacles, and then, you'd probably be more efficient with potion brewing.
Only until the end of the world, though. I mean,
Suldil seems very unentertained by this current line of conversation and just slowly sips his drink.
I have goals, and they can't be done if the city is just nothing but blobby, angry creatures. So if you guys could play nice, and then we could get going, and then I don't have to be feeling like I'm like, this is not my vibe. Let's have better vibes.
I'm all about good vibes, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, me too.
Everyone was lying.
Yeah, like...
Well, you should say it wasn't. It's just your definition of good vibes might be different
than everyone else's.
Yeah,
I'm actually now hungry.
Hey. You see Hubris holding onto a banister above, looking down, and say, that is who was in with Clem. I imagine he is now free.
Who was in with that? Where?
I just want to see adventures. Just points over to the guy sat in front of a stage. Like, but that was his meeting, so seemingly he will now be available.
Okay.
My headset's beeping. One moment.
Do we want to head back there and update him? I don't even know what we'd tell him.
I mean, he's always, a fantastic time, so... Really knows how to put the pizzazz in a conversation.
I mean, I guess we should at least tell him that we might be away for a bit while we hunt down a giant. What is it that we're gonna try and do?
Gem dragon.
That
he doesn't
also,
even think that we can kill any dragon.
Isn't the first step in that process some sort of giant, though?
A hill giant, yes.
Yeah.
Or like
the Adventurers Guild might have
giants?
They might have the resources to track someone like that down, actually, or assist us.
I'm sure Clem has fought some hill giants in his time.
I'll turn to Havlam and Suldil. You want to talk to the, boss of this chapter? I don't even know.
Big boss! Yes. And Suldil's like, you are somewhat overdoing it. Yes, we will come with you.
Before we go, do we trust them enough to tell them the rest? I mean, I'm sure the Adventurers Guild would be an aid in stopping whatever is coming to Athkatla, or at least maybe they have some information on the city infrastructure that we might not be aware of. Go.
I mean, it's impossible to tell. He hasn't given us any reason to mistrust him.
I'm not notoriously bad people reader.
You can tell him whatever you want. Well, you'll tell him whatever he asks, so do you want to have someone else do the talking?
Just wanted your point of view.
Gigi, that was too quiet. I didn't hear you.
I just wanted your point of view.
I mean, he hasn't given us any reason to mistrust him. Like, it's entirely possible that anyone in this city could be connected to this somehow. You know, I'm sure they have people in every whatever words in their pockets. You know, I don't know how you plan such a big thing and not have so many people involved in it, but I don't know. He could have very easily, I mean, we sleep here. If he really wanted to sell us out or do anything like that, like, he's had so many opportunities. I don't know. At some point, you just gotta hang the sense of it and do whatever you want to do anyways. That's what I do.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go. Hey, girly.
Yeah, I really wish there was another way through to the back rooms that wasn't through the bar.
Yeah.
It does not make for a safe working environment.
Sorry. Scooch
Hey,
by you here.
sorry. Actually, could I have some breakfast to go? Just after we miss this meeting. I'm rather hungry.
Yes, I can whip
Thanks.
something up. On your brother, yes?
No.
He's
I'll
already
get
paid
it.
for it.
No. I'll get it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. He gave you my message, yes?
Yes.
I have no idea what that was about, but he went before we get more information. That seemed prudent to warn you.
I'm worried that we might be contacted by some people who wish us harm, and at the same time, I'm worried about turning away those who are seeking aid. So probably the best thing to do, or what I plan to do, is to face it no matter what.
Oh, okay, yes. Bacon on toast or on toasted bread?
With like at least 3 eggs.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
The Simpsons, this really goes beyond my training as a couch salesman. Just let me.
I can see the goat.
Just glaring.
Yeah.
The doors open, we go to stare like.
Just mean mugging from beyond the door. Look, Obsidian, your friend is still here.
Should take it to one of those adventures, I reckon.
Could be a mount for a kobold.
Or a meal. He ate a moose.
I was like, no. Not for bed, then meal.
Are you knocking, going in? What are you doing? You walked up to it and just hanging
I
around
was
outside
waiting
the
for
door.
everyone to catch up, and then I'll
Okay.
knock.
Enter!
Cool.
Asher, darling. Does this mean your merry band has returned?
Yeah, it was a wild.
Come in,
days.
warm your cockles on the table. Tell me all. I wish to hear every sordid detail.
Well, I killed a dragon, but only for a little bit.
A second dragon? Marvelous. This sounds like the most glory. I shall call for
It
several decanters.
Well,
And
it
to find
was
as
mostly dead.
Suldil and Haviland enter, he becomes very sort of apprehensive for a moment and say, "Greetings."
Oh, these are our friends. They'd like to join the ranks. Become part of our little merry band.
Is this so? Which of you is most interested in joining? And Suldil comes in. He's like, I am actually sworn elsewhere, though I would make use of your services in aid of larger goals. And Haviland just sort of like looks around, looks at Clem, and is just like, greetings. I am his kobold companion. That I can see. Yes. Well, tell me your tale, Asher.
So, we went up to this trades meet place, because we got deputized.
I would like to drink wine. Please. And Clem's like, yes, very well. I can provide wine, as I said. What was your name again? He's like, Haviland! Very good. Pleasure
Is
to make
Haviland
your...
wasted right now? Just like, is he actually wasted or just?
Certainly acting it.
Okay.
He's like, a pleasure to make your acquaintance once again, Haviland. I'm Clem Fandango. I am somewhat of a senior member here of the Adventurers Guild, and have been for many years. So, okay, I like wine. And he pours the wine out, and Haviland takes a drink. Okay, carry on.
Anyways, we went up to this place because the constabulary sent us there, and then, we're tracking down this drug. There's this crazy monster thing. There was also an investigator that was a squirrel. But
Pray tell, what?
yeah, it was a whole thing. He poofed out of nowhere. He smelled of cinnamon, right? Obsidian. And then was looking for some princess, but we didn't know where she was.
It sounds like it's entirely own escapade.
It was like an offshoot. And then we
Bit of
went,
side quest.
and there was this big like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk thing that like we had to sneak around, and it
A
was like
6 million gold automaton.
What? Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like a giant metal beast, and it would like look at you with its like crazy red eye beam of light. And then we went underground, and there was a dragon, but it was mostly dead, so I put it out of its misery, and we busted up all the machinery.
Pray tell, what color was the dragon?
I don't know, silverish. Ish.
And you put it out of its misery.
Well, yeah, it was like mostly dead and in terrible shape. There was no way to get it out of the thing that we could see. So we just, put a stop to the whole operation. And then there was this hobgoblin guy that was super intimidating, but he got zooped somewhere else, like when we were fighting him. And so we were then able to get out of there. And then we got back here, told the constables all about it, and then now we're here. It was a wild 2 days.
Quite the tale.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you are returned to us safely. What will you do now?
Well, there's like a giant that we have to go find that stole a key.
A key
Hill
thieving,
giant, I believe.
a key thieving hill giant.
Yeah. And then after that, we gotta stop the end of the world.
Why do you require a key? A key to what?
A castle?
A castle has many means of entry. One key? Miss, come, I feel you're not being entirely honest with me.
I'm giving you the information I have, Clem.
I think it's some kind of magic key. I don't know.
Oh, well, that explains everything, of course. Do you have any information to follow up on this giant, or are we simply to start scouring the annals for any and all giants of the topographical persuasion?
I don't know. So deal?
She goes by the name of Hestia.
Oh, there we go.
Hestine. Well, that's
She was a
something we can-
lieutenant for Kurigalzu.
So an old giant. An older giant named Hestine. Sounds like a giantess's name. We can look into this for you and
Oh, that'd be great.
see if we can find where she's hiding seems the wrong word, but where she is dwelling. Everybody make me an insight check as well.
I was actually going to ask that. But not that it ever does anything for me. Terrible.
It's weird. Everyone's there. We go. Took a second for the dice rolls to come up. Atticus. Glenn seems a bit distracted in this conversation. He's been thrown off his usual. He's trying to pull it back, but you see that something seemed to sour his mood from the initial entry. He seems not quite his usual self.
Okay.
So you'll take rest here. We'll look into the location of this Hestine. I do know that new jobs are being posted over the next couple of days. Spoiler warning, I know one of them involves a manticore. If you're looking for a bit of money, of course. Asher, you know what they call the manticore. They say it's Callum Shantha, the alchemist's friend.
Yes. Yeah. It's got a lot of bits.
A lot of bits from a lot of beasts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not getting confused with a chimera. I mean, but those fangs, the tail of the scorpion, the bat-like wings.
Yeah,
the
a lot
fine
of beasts, a lot
fur.
of bits.
Terrible,
Lots
terrible.
of things.
The only problem I have with manticores. Terribly chatty, given the business at hand.
Well, manticores.
I want less chatter, more splatter, if you know what I mean.
I've never come across one before in person. I guess I didn't realize that they were chatty.
In my experience, yes. What of your two guests who They be taking guest lodgings here, or do you have other arrangements in the city?
Oh, I don't know. Is it alright if they stay here? We definitely vouch for them.
We can entertain them for a night or two before it becomes improper.
Alright, solid.
Especially if, as you say, you are forsworn elsewhere. But I leave it at your discretion.
Alright.
Well then. Till tomorrow, yes?
Yeah.
A good evening to you all. Sordil. Havalan.
Alright, Clem.
Havalan leans forward and gets a decanter off the table. And takes it with him.
You seem to be enjoying that, Avalon.
I'm waiting for if Atticus is actually just like, sorry, Clem, where he lingers behind. Now he has that hand bomb. I'm always very worried. Yeah, Havalan's like, it's actually disappointingly weak.
Do you guys recognize Clem at all, or?
What do you mean?
I mean, he just seemed off once. Sordil and Havalan entered, and I wonder if it was recognition or merely a distaste for kobolds. Who knows?
He seems to be
anything you can intuit.
Seems to be a man of middle years. I wager we were imprisoned longer than he's been alive.
I assume you guys are all back at the table. And not
Not
talking about
outside
this
his
in
door.
front of Clem.
Yeah, can be on the walk back. Mila is like, these will just be a few more minutes, Sireh.
Thank you.
Has the goat been a problem at all? And do I owe you anything for taking care of it?
No. There was a stray dog who had been getting increasingly brave to come in and steal from the bottom shelves. It had actually tried to bite Magira the other day, but the goat, I saw him yesterday morning throw him over the wall. I am rather fond of the goat. I will. No payment required whatsoever.
I'm glad to hear that.
You were saying you thought Clem was acting strange. He's always been a remarkably strange fellow to me.
He does seem rather eccentric.
Oh yeah, he super is.
He
Seems like
doesn't
Clem.
strike me as someone who doesn't like being out of the know. If that makes sense.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to find us this giant, or at least put us in contact with someone who can.
So what, we plan to chill for the night, attend to any downtime errands in the morning, collect, hopefully, the location of this Hestine, and then track down the key so you can hopefully begin nightly business.
Oh,
Theory.
Syria has more things to do in Athkatla.
Pray tell. I'm happy with some downtime. You no longer have the looming threat of getting arrested if you don't act quick enough.
I believe we have
She wants to
some
go
items
see
here,
Ayash,
please.
but Yeah, we have some items to retrieve. Honestly, yeah, maybe we should check the book. But also, I'd like to go back to the Temple of Okma. I'd like to get their view on Dragon Sight, and get their view of this dragon that Avalan mentioned, this great worm that split into a billion pieces. And yeah.
And we've obviously got to take Avalan for sushi for lunch.
Yeah.
And Atticus has got to ask Asher if she wants to go out for dinner later.
Well, yeah, we're doing sushi, right? You just said.
Oh, God. And then probably also talk to Obsidian at some point as well.
What now?
I
What'd you
I
say?
like the
Last
idea
one?
that Atticus is just saying his to-do list out loud.
Well, just because, I feel like I got to say it, otherwise we'll be like fast forwarding to the next day, you know?
Yeah,
What
drop
was-
everything you want to do in your own channels, and I'll draw up a bit of a hit list for next session. We will have maybe not full shopping, but a commercial session.
Yeah, but also, what was that last bit?
I just want to talk to Obsidian.
Strange.
Is it?
Obsidian,
not sure if Obsidian wants to talk to you.
Obsidian right now just wanted to approach Hubris and ask whether or not she sees anything strange about the kobold at all.
She's no, but clearly there is, so I will now scrutinize him deeply. What is strange about him?
I mean, it's kind of... Now it feels proper to let you take a stab at it. Do you want me to just tell you instead?
Oh, there will be no sport in stabbing at it. Why would I? It has done no harm to me. It is rather ordinary
Yes, that
for
is
a
true.
kobold.
Too ordinary, perhaps.
So you say he is not a kobold, then? Is
There
this
would be
a form
there
of
would be
riddle, or-
a slight smile creeping in, and it's like the first time since, I don't know, days by now, I think. If at all during this campaign.
She looks and her eyes flare for just a brief moment with flame and a puff of smoke, and she's like, "It is not of the abyss." Some form of glamour, then?
Not exactly, I don't reckon. And you are able to tell
I
on
have-
sight.
I have little interest in riddles. I take
Yes,
it that
yes.
based off your prior being, you seem trustworthy enough that I take it you have not brought something that I need to be concerned about the well-being of everybody here.
No.
Then good.
I have been curious, for you have, to my understanding, you have been able to just tell about the essence of a dragon being connected to myself. That is something you do see.
In part.
Well,
So it is a dragon then.
that it would be, yes.
You have seen it, or is there a chance you are being duped?
No.
And there's a slight grip on the sword, and she's like, "What manner of dragon?
A silverish one.
Truly?" The hand comes off the sword. She's like, "Just so." Very, very well then. You've taken it. It is it is young, or you're protecting it, or it is protecting you?
It is a bit difficult to tell. We have helped it for now. And it
I'll be
has,
sure to show it. I'll be sure to show it the appropriate respect.
It might, for the most part, be a secret, although I don't believe I am in any way beholden to it.
I will not speak of this.
I thought as much. And I was curious.
Will be that.
So yeah, anything else before you settle in for the afternoon out of character?
No.
Hubris walks down and heads off to behind the bar. And if you were to be watching her, Obsidian, you see that she takes like a bag out of a cupboard and fishes something out of it. To approach over and step quite close between Obsidian and Haviland.
Obsidian. Slightly to the side.
And she sort of leans down to Haviland and drops her voice quite quiet and holds out in her palm just a single platinum coin. She's like, I would be most indebted if you would bless this for me. In his name. And Haviland sort of looks up at her for a moment and narrows his eyes and sort of, you see there's a moment where the foolishness kind of comes off and he's like, I do so bless. And she just gives like a nod and gets up and walks away before he's like, more wine!
Oh no.
Why oh no?
Just, if that's how people would react, we cannot let the city know.
I mean, I'm already thinking, why don't we have blessed coins? Come on.
Yes, like it's the thing. Like,
I think we will call it there for the night. We will pick up next week with some commercial adventures. So yeah, we will be back next time. Thank you very much, everybody.